Hi everyone, my name is Latoya. Welcome to my crafty space. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please do like this video if you do like it, and give my channel a subscribe if you would like also. On today's video, I'm going to be touching on another question that I was asked on a different platform. It was about my stamping storage. I do have an updated craft room tour video coming. I literally have like 2 things left to get. I'm trying to create my dream craft room for the space that I'm currently in. It's nice, small, everything has a place. That video is coming soon, so thank you for waiting if that's something you were interested in. All right, you guys, this is my stamping storage system. I love it so much. So I have an open storage system for my stamps. I have 2 bookcases here. I do have some stamps at the bottom. They are my Stampin' Up stamps, and those are stacked freely. I'm just going to be going over these stamps here within the containers. Now, if you saw my last craft room tour video, I had 2 bookcases also, but those were apart and they were different styles. Once I moved into this area, I needed to upgrade what I had because one of my bookshelves actually did break. But again, that's for another video, and that bookshelf was from IKEA. I needed to get a new bookcase, so I decided to replace both bookshelves. And I love how I use bookcase and bookshelves just like interchangeably when shelf is actually the shelf. So I apologize. I decided to upgrade my storage and have things that are similar. One thing that did carry over from before were these containers here. Now I'm going to talk about these in detail because I do have my Stampin' Up stamps and those stack on one another. So those are not housed inside of anything, but my stamps, like these stamps here, they actually do need to be stacked inside of an actual container. So these containers are a carryover from my last craft room. And I did need to buy 8 more containers once I moved in here, just because I wanted to, 1, space out my stamps. Things were really tightly put together, just kind of like stacked on one another. And then I did have a really large bin that you normally use for storage and stuff, like filled with stamps, and that just wasn't gonna do. So me coming into this apartment was actually great also for my crafty life because I got to get a little more organized and change the storage and give my stamps basically some space and just some life, which is nice. Now, I think in the future, I actually do want to change out these containers for something that extends out a little bit more. And that's 1, to give myself more space to store stamps. So I have like a little more room to grow. And 2, I'd say number 2 would probably be just aesthetics, but I don't think this is absolutely terrible. Like I said, I had a majority of these containers from my last craft area, and I am not in the position to purchase new containers. I'm just not. Containers are expensive. Everything within a hobby can just add on itself and just cost you so much. And I just wanted to avoid that. So I kept my same system, these white containers, and a few different stores sell them. If you can't tell, the designs are different and the color also varies just slightly. It's because they're from different stores like Walmart, At Home, Target, Home Goods, pretty much any of those stores you can find these containers here. Now, I'm going to say I did look out as far as finding containers that fit into these bookcases. And that's because, like I said, originally I started out with these containers here. These smaller containers, when I say I got lucky, I got lucky. So originally my stamps were like this. And then I realized, hey, I have a gap here. I want to use this gap. I have a binder here, but obviously I wanted to use this gap to put stamps because there's overflow for categories that I have in place. So I ended up searching like high and low, and I got super duper lucky because I did measure this area. I ended up getting lucky and finding something. I will say I was pretty upset though, because this piece was a part of like a 6-piece set. So I needed to buy all 6 just to get one of these. You guys, storage costs money. Storage costs money. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's ridiculous. But as you can see, I am very happy and my craft space is nice, neat, and organized. I think maybe one day I would want this to be wood instead of white, but I'm not sure right now. Just going to leave it white, and that's going to be it. Touch on the second part of the question, which is, why do I store my stamps the way I store them? Now, there seems to be 2 camps of people when it comes to stamping storage. There are the people like me who love to store their stamps as they are, as they come. You get it in the mail, you awe at it, and then you put it inside of the container and it's done. Then there are the other people that take their item outside of its packaging. They have a label maker. I mean, I love their level of organization too. They have a label maker. They might type up the title and such, and then they take the item and place it against white cardstock, take it, put it inside of a separate bag from what it came in. And that item is actually like measured to all the other items inside of their stash. And they sit it there and everything is nice, neat, organized. Everything looks uniform. I love the look of the uniformed stamp storage. However, for me personally, I love the look of the item as it was sold to me. So what I'm basically saying is that I know that I need to do reverse psychology with myself in order for me to also still love my stash. And I say still love my stash because I feel like people become disenchanted with the items they own once they get them. It happens so much. And there's also like the fear of missing out. Let me touch on what I mean. So for me, if I was to get an item and then take it outside of its packaging and place it here against the white and put it with everything else, that would be fantastic. But to me, that's a little dull. I'm not seeing the item as it was being advertised to me, as it was sold to me. I feel like seeing this item with all of the marketing, the company, the logos, the colors, I find that to be more exciting to my eye and makes me also want to grab this item over seeing it nice and neat and very pristine against just a white backdrop. And that's me personally. I think, like I said, because I know some people probably follow me and do this way of storage, I think that that's also great in its own right. I need to keep something as it literally was sold to me. That's it. And I also find it fascinating because over time, and I mean, even now, just the number of years I've been stamping, so many companies have come and gone, which, you know, is kind of sad, but keeping the item as it's intended, I think it helps with one, resale value. So if I do ever need to sell something, I literally have it in its original condition, which can help greatly. Although we know, or if you don't know, you guys, you never make back for most of the stamps, unless it's like a limited edition item or super coveted, you never make back what you spend. So for example, this here, this Lawn Fawn stamp set has a price tag of $15.99. One, it would also be interesting to see how much stamps are going to go up in prices in like 10 years. Me having this as it is, just like this, it can help me get closer to maybe what I spent, or at least someone will be willing to spend more over me just having the image here against a white backdrop. Aside from that, like I mentioned, the company's coming and going. It's nice to see, like, you know, a company that's gone out of business and their marketing, how they advertised. It's just nice to see everything in its entirety. I think overall, that's just what I like about it. So I leave all my stamps as they are. Now, I think in the future, one of the things that I want to do, because I have noticed an issue with some of the packaging, I want to take these, probably like my stamps, outside of their sleeves, because sometimes the sleeves can rip on the side or down here, or the tape can start to fail because, you know, it's only so sticky, and dust, debris, etc. can get on it, and then it no longer adheres to this plastic. I think it's plastic, not acetate. This plastic. So I would want to take everything as a whole and put it inside of one of those envelopes. You guys, I own over 1,000 stamps, and I would reckon to say even double that. It's going to cost me some money to get all those containers. I say containers, all of those holders. And then also I would have to figure out sizing, because as you saw, I have some of these Tim Holtz stamps, and these are quite up there in height compared to these other stamps, which would require a different size envelope. Aside from that, me adding an envelope would also add thickness to these stamps, which means, okay, am I going to be able to fit the same amount of stamps within the containers that I have. Like I mentioned earlier, I do want to get containers that extend out a little bit once I, house these inside of something and then put those into the new containers. That's probably going to take up all that extra space that I created. All right, so that sums up my stamp storage. Hopefully this video helped you guys out with some kind of ideas. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I hope you all get to do something crafty that makes your heart happy. I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye now.